Hi, this is Brian with This Is Our Home, and what I want to talk about today is storage. So if you've been watching our videos, you'll know that we are getting ready to go through a remodel, and we are going to be finishing our entire basement, which is 1,500 square foot. Right now it acts as a storage place for all of our extra things, as you can see behind me. And we have plans to try and find a place for this stuff. Obviously we cannot keep it down here in the basement because they're going to be doing work down here. There's nowhere to keep it upstairs because it's filled with other things. We do have a very small garage in the back, and that is where we plan to put all this stuff. But as of right now, it is very disorganized in that garage. So let me just show you what we plan to do with it. Before I show you the garage and show you the space that we have there, I just want to show you all the stuff that we need to put in that garage. So right now, as you can see, our very large unfinished basement has lots of things. Lots of things that are piled up for garage sale, things that need to possibly go outside, like some of her outdoor toys. Hi, Ellie. We got some of my tools sitting over here in this section, and we need to find a place for all this stuff. So all this stuff needs to fit into this tiny little garage. So as you can see, not a lot of space here. I would guess that this garage is about 18 feet by 12 feet or so. Probably a 12 by 18 foot garage. And I'm just gonna flip this around just to kind of show you the layout. So this is what we're looking at. It's already pretty full. So my plan right now in this section here, I'm gonna put some shelving, and I bought about 20 of these containers right here. 20 of these gray containers from Walmart.com, and I'll give you guys the link in the description there. But we got 20 of these containers, and I'm gonna build a shelving unit to house all 20. Some of the things that we have in our basement right now is not gonna fit in those containers, obviously, because they're smaller. So there will be some things that won't be on those shelves, but for the most part, all the smaller items, they'll have a house, or even some of this existing stuff that's in the garage right now will have a place that we can put it. Okay, so I started my project by measuring the height of my ceiling so that I could see how tall I needed to make the vertical studs that were gonna be the ends of my shelves, the vertical supports. Then I began to cut 4 vertical studs at 6 foot in height. I used the very first stud that I cut as my masterpiece and used it to measure the rest of my studs. That way all of them were the same height. Here I measured out 18 inches from the end of my post and used a square to draw a line across the stud. What this did was give me a height from my ground floor level. It gives me the height to my very first shelf so that one of the storage containers could fit in the space just perfectly. Using the framing nailer, I lined up a full-length 8-foot board to my 18-inch line to create my first horizontal support for the shelf. So what I did after I installed each horizontal support is I would measure another 18 inches for the next level up. What this does is ensure that I'm actually hitting my 18-inch mark. So right now I have the front and the back part of the shelf, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure for the depth of the shelf right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to saw this plywood board, this particle board here, in half, and then I'm going to take that measurement, and that's what I'm going to use for my depth. What I'm doing here is I'm cutting smaller stud supports that's going to connect the front and back portion of my shelf frame. And to get the length you want, you need to take the depth of your shelf, so the depth of your plywood sheet that you cut, minus the width of 2 of your studs. So they're about 3.5 inches, so approximately 7 inches off of my total 24-inch depth. And from here, all I did was take the short studs and connect them to the front side of the shelf. And once I did that, I stood it up and I took some framing nails, framed it into the back side so it was all connected in one solid piece. Okay, here's the shelf all finished. In hindsight, I would have done a couple of things differently for sure. I would have turned these boards vertical, because if you can see, I had some head space up there, so I had room to go up. So, and I would have done that because you can see it's not supporting a lot of weight, and the reason is because those boards are not vertical, and I should have thought about that, but you know, I'm not a professional, just a DIYer. But definitely learned a lot. I also would have put the shelving together before I actually framed it or nailed it to the wall. That was a mistake there, because I had to get into some awkward spots and just made things tough. So but you know, it looks good. It looks really good, and it's gonna work out just perfect for what we want it. So it holds 25 of these Sterilite containers perfectly. What I can do to mitigate some of the weight issues with the support is I do have about a 2-inch gap between these, so I could run studs vertical, you know, three on one side, 2 on the other side of the vertical studs, just to support some more weight, which I might end up doing in the future for sure. But it does hold 25 containers, and it is gonna save us a lot of space, so I'm happy with it. Yeah, thank you for watching this video.